Both engines are dead. 2,800 feet above New York City. 150 passengers in the cabin, 3 minutes after takeoff. Captain Chesley Sullenberger looks at the instrument panel. Thrust gone, both of them. No power, no altitude, no time. The aircraft is falling. He has maybe 208 seconds left. It's January 15, 2009. Thursday afternoon. LaGuardia Airport in New York City. U.S. Airways Flight 1549 is preparing to depart for Charlotte, North Carolina. An Airbus A320, 16 years old, routine maintenance, clean logbook, 150 passengers board, families, business travelers, people going home. 5 crew members are on duty. Captain Chesley Sullenberger, 57, former fighter pilot, 19,000 flight hours across 40 years. First Officer Jeffrey Skiles, 49. 23 years flying commercial aircraft. This is his first flight in the A320 after transitioning from the Boeing 737. 3 flight attendants prepare the cabin: Donna Dent, Doreen Welsh, Sheila Dale, all veterans, thousands of flights between them. The temperature outside hovers just above 20 degrees Fahrenheit. Ice clings to the Hudson River a mile west. The sky is clear. Visibility 10 miles. Winds out of the northwest at 13 knots. At 3:24 p.m. air traffic control clears Flight 1549 for takeoff from runway 4. Skiles is at the controls. Sullenberger monitors. Standard procedure. Normal day. The Airbus rolls down the runway. It lifts off, climbs northeast over Queens. Everything is routine. Everything is normal. 3 minutes. That's how long everything stays normal. Skiles holds the climb. The aircraft passes through 700 feet, then 1,000, heading northeast, following the standard departure procedure toward the George Washington Bridge. Inside the cabin, passengers settle in. Some open laptops, others check phones. A few close their eyes. Flight attendants move through the aisles, demonstrating safety procedures, checking seat belts. The Hudson River stretches out to the left, gray water, chunks of ice. Ferry boats crossing between Manhattan and New Jersey. The George Washington Bridge hangs in the distance ahead. Sullenberger glances out the window. What a view of the Hudson today. Skiles agrees, yeah. It's 3:26 p.m. 2 minutes since takeoff. The aircraft climbs through 2,700 feet. The engines are running perfectly. Fuel flow normal, airspeed steady. Skiles calls for flaps up. Standard procedure as they continue the climb. The aircraft is supposed to reach 15,000 feet, then level off, then coast down to Charlotte in about 90 minutes. But at 3:27 p.m. everything changes. Sullenberger sees them first. Birds. A flock of Canada geese, dark shapes ahead, flying in formation, dozens of them, some weighing over 10 pounds, moving directly into the aircraft's path. There's no time to avoid them. Skiles reacts. Whoa. The windscreen turns dark brown. Impact. Loud thuds echo through the fuselage. Multiple strikes, both engines. Simultaneously, metal tears, blades shatter. Fire shoots out the back of both turbofans. Passengers in the window seats see flashes, flames, smoke. Then silence. Both engines shut down. The noise of the turbofans, that constant background hum every passenger hears without thinking, cuts out. Gone. The cabin goes eerily quiet. Skiles swears. Sullenberger confirms what the instruments are showing. We got one rolling back, both of them rolling back. The N1 readings collapse. Engine speed drops to nothing. Thrust falls to 0. The stick shaker activates. The aircraft is no longer climbing, it's already starting to fall. Passengers smell something. Burning, unburned fuel, acrid, wrong. Sullenberger reacts immediately. Ignition start. I'm starting the APU. He activates the auxiliary power unit. Backup electrical power. They're going to need it. He takes control of the aircraft. My aircraft. Skiles releases the controls. Your aircraft. Sullenberger noses the plane down slightly to maintain airspeed. Without engines, the A320 is a glider, a very heavy glider. It will descend, fast. He needs to keep it flying as long as possible. Get the QRH, he says, the Quick Reference Handbook, the emergency checklist. Loss of thrust on both engines. Skiles pulls out the handbook and starts reading. Engine mode selector. Ignition, thrust levers, airspeed. He's following the procedure, but the procedure assumes they have altitude, time, a chance to restart the engines. They have none of those things. At 3:27:32, Sullenberger keys the radio. His voice is calm, measured, professional. Mayday, mayday, mayday. This is Cactus 1539. Hit birds. We've lost thrust on both engines. We're turning back towards LaGuardia. Air traffic controller Patrick Harton hears the call. He's sitting at his console at New York TRACON. He immediately clears other aircraft out of the way. Okay, you need to return to LaGuardia. Turn left heading 220. Sullenberger turns the aircraft, 220. Harton offers runway 13 at LaGuardia for an emergency landing. It's behind them, across urban Queens. Buildings, houses, streets full of people. Sullenberger looks at the altitude. They're descending, fast. He runs the numbers in his head. Glide ratio, distance, descent rate. We're unable. We may end up in the Hudson. Inside the cabin, passengers realize something is wrong. The engines are silent. The aircraft is descending. Flight attendants are moving quickly, faces serious. Harton tries again. If we can get it for you, do you want to try to land runway 31? We're unable. Harton offers runway 4, still LaGuardia, still behind them. I'm not sure we can make any runway, Sullenberger says. What's over to our right? Anything in New Jersey, maybe Teterboro. Teterboro Airport, a smaller field across the river in New Jersey, closer to the west. Harton contacts Teterboro, gets immediate clearance. Runway 1 is available. You want to try and go to Teterboro. Sullenberger considers it, but they're still descending. Teterboro is miles away. Buildings and neighborhoods between them and the runway. If they don't make it, if they fall short, they'll crash into a populated area. He makes the decision. We can't do it. We're gonna be in the Hudson. It's 3:29:28, 4 minutes since the birds strike. The Hudson River is directly ahead. Gray water, ice, boats. Harton acknowledges there's nothing more he can do. I'm sorry, say again, Cactus. But Sullenberger is done talking to air traffic control. He's focused on one thing now: landing the aircraft in the river without killing everyone on board. Inside the cockpit, Skiles is still trying to restart the engines, following the checklist. Engine master switches, fuel flow, nothing is working, no relight. Sullenberger looks at the altimeter. They're passing through 1,000 feet. The terrain warnings are screaming. Too low, terrain, pull up, pull up. He ignores them. He's not pulling up. He's aiming for the river. Let's go put the flaps out, he says. Put the flaps out. Flaps will slow the aircraft, give them more control, but they'll also increase drag, make them descend faster. It's a calculated risk. Skiles deploys the flaps, got flaps out. The aircraft is at 250 feet, descending, 170 knots. Sullenberger keys the cabin intercom. His voice is the same, calm, flat, deliberate. This is the captain, brace for impact. In the cabin, passengers hear the announcement, brace for impact. Flight attendants start shouting, brace, brace, heads down, stay down. Passengers grab their knees. Some tuck their heads between their legs. Others stare out the windows. The river is rushing up, close, too close. Dave Sanderson, sitting in the rear, looks around. He's 47, married, 4 kids, works for Oracle. He thinks about his family. He's certain he's about to die. Barry Leonard, sitting near the front, watches the water. He's trying to understand what's happening. The plane is landing on a river in New York City in the middle of winter. Nobody screams. The cabin is almost silent except for the flight attendants' voices. Brace. Stay down. Sullenberger lines up the aircraft parallel to the river. He can't afford to hit the water at an angle. The plane will cartwheel, break apart. Everyone will die. He has to land it flat, like putting down glass. The George Washington Bridge passes overhead. Air traffic control later reports the aircraft cleared the bridge by less than 900 feet. The altitude readout ticks down. 100 feet, 50, terrain warning scream, pull up, pull up, pull up. Sullenberger pulls back slightly on the side stick. The nose lifts, just a few degrees. The tail is low. The wings are level. The Hudson River fills the windscreen. At 3:31 p.m., 208 seconds after the bird strike, U.S. Airways Flight 1549 touches down on the Hudson River. The impact is violent. The fuselage slams into the water at roughly 150 miles per hour. The force drives passengers forward against their seat belts. Overhead bins pop open, bags fly, the noise is immense. Metal tearing, water exploding. The tail strikes first, then the rear of the fuselage. Water shoots upward, the aircraft skips once, comes down again, slides forward across the surface. The belly tears open. Freezing river water pours into the cabin through cracks in the hull. Then the plane stops. For a few seconds, nobody moves. Then the flight attendants start yelling again. Evacuate, get out, move, move. Water is already shin-deep in the back rows, rising fast. The rear of the aircraft is sinking. Passengers unbuckle, stand. The aisles fill, people move toward the exits. 8 exits total, 2 doors at the front, 4 windows over the wings, 2 doors at the rear, but the rear door is already underwater. Flight attendant Doreen Welsh tries to open it. River water floods in. She slams it shut. That leaves 5 exits. The front left door opens. The evacuation slide is supposed to deploy automatically. It inflates, but it inflates inside the cabin, blocking the exit. Passengers push it aside. The front right door opens. The slide deploys correctly. Into the water, passengers start climbing out. The 4 overwing exits open. Passengers climb onto the wings. The cold hits immediately. Wind, spray, the smell of jet fuel. The wings are slippery, wet. People grab each other to keep from falling into the river. Dave Sanderson is near the rear. Water is rising fast up to his knees, then his waist. He climbs over seats, moves forward, helps others. A woman with a baby, an elderly passenger. He keeps moving people toward the exits. Barry Leonard is near the front. He steps onto the wing. The water is freezing, 36 degrees. The air is 20 degrees. He's wearing a suit, no coat. His shoes slip on the wing surface. Someone grabs his arm, steadies him. Flight attendant Sheila Dale stands on the left wing, pulling people out of the exit. Donna Dent works the right side. Passengers help each other. Strangers hold hands. Inside the cockpit, Sullenberger and Skiles run through the shutdown checklist. Engines off, already off. Fuel shut off. Electrical isolated. They grab the emergency equipment. Then Sullenberger walks through the cabin, checking seats, checking bathrooms, checking every space, making sure no one is left behind. Water is up to his chest in the rear. The plane is sinking. He calls out. No answer. He checks again, still nothing. He walks the cabin twice. Finally, he and Skiles climb out onto the wing. 155 people are out of the aircraft. All of them, not one left inside. Now they just have to survive the river. The rescue starts within minutes. Captain Vince Lombardi is at the helm of the New York waterway ferry Thomas Jefferson. He's crossing the river when he sees the plane go down. He doesn't wait for orders. He turns the boat, opens the throttles, heads straight for the wreckage. Other ferries follow. The Morris Smith, the Governor Thomas H. Keene, 14 NY waterway vessels in total, plus Coast Guard boats, NYPD Harbor Patrol, Fire Department rescue boats. The Hudson River fills with flashing lights and sirens. Passengers stand on the wings, knee-deep in water. The aircraft is tilting. The tail is sinking lower. Some passengers are waist-deep in the river. Others are trying to swim away, afraid the plane will explode. The water is freezing. Hypothermia sets in fast. Fingers go numb. Legs stop responding. People start shaking uncontrollably. Ferry crews throw lines. Life rings. Passengers grab them, pull themselves toward the boats. Some climb ladders. Others are hauled up by deckhands. Adelaide Horton, 77 years old, stands on the wing, soaked, shivering. A ferry pulls alongside. Crew members reach down, lift her aboard. She's hypothermic but alive. Ben Bostic, a software engineer, is one of the last off the wing. He later says he didn't think he'd survive the water, but the ferries keep coming. Mark Hood, a former Marine lieutenant, takes charge on one wing, organizing passengers, keeping them calm, helping the elderly and injured first. Flight attendant Doreen Welsh has a deep laceration in her leg. A 12-inch piece of metal from the fuselage tore through during impact. She doesn't realize it at first. Adrenaline, she keeps working, helping passengers evacuate. Only later does she see the blood. Dave Sanderson is the last passenger to leave the aircraft. He makes sure everyone else is out first. Then he steps onto the wing, into the water. A ferry pulls up. He climbs aboard. Sullenberger stays until the very end. He walks through the cabin one more time, checks every seat, every bathroom, every space. Finally, he climbs onto a rescue boat. He looks back at the aircraft. The tail is underwater. The nose is tilted up. Within an hour, the entire plane will be submerged. By 4:00 p.m., all 155 people from Flight 1549 have been pulled out of the river. They're taken to hospitals, ferry terminals, warming centers across Manhattan and New Jersey. 5 people have serious injuries: Doreen Welsh's leg, broken bones, deep cuts, hypothermia. 78 people are treated in total, mostly minor injuries, shock, exposure, but no one dies, not one person dies. The investigation begins that night. The National Transportation Safety Board dispatches a team to New York. They want the aircraft, the black boxes. They want to know exactly what happened and why everyone survived. Over the next weeks, divers recover the plane from the riverbed. Both engines are retrieved, examined. Investigators find organic material inside the compressor sections. Feathers, tissue, bone. DNA testing confirms it. Canada geese, large birds, weighing 8 to 10 pounds. They were sucked into both engines at high speed. The impact shattered fan blades, damaged compressor stages. The left engine was destroyed. The right engine was severely damaged and couldn't produce thrust. The NTSB pulls the flight data recorder and the cockpit voice recorder. They listen to every word, analyze every input. The data shows Sullenberger flew the approach almost perfectly. His pitch, his speed, his angle of descent, all within a narrow margin that allowed the aircraft to survive impact. The board's final report is released on May 4, 2010. The probable cause: the ingestion of large birds into each engine, which resulted in an almost total loss of thrust in both engines. The report also concludes that the decision to ditch in the Hudson was correct. Attempting to return to LaGuardia or reach Teterboro would have resulted in a crash into a populated area, catastrophic loss of life. The crew's performance was exceptional. The flight attendants' evacuation procedures saved lives. The quick response of the ferry crews and first responders saved lives. Everything had to go right, and somehow it did. Sullenberger and Skiles are hailed as heroes. They appear on television, meet President Obama, receive awards. The Guild of Air Pilots and Air Navigators awards them the Master's Medal. The citation reads, "This emergency ditching and evacuation, with the loss of no lives, is a heroic and unique aviation achievement." The Airbus A320 is eventually recovered and preserved. It's now on display at the Carolinas Aviation Museum in Charlotte. People walk through it, see the torn metal, the cracked windows, the water stains. The incident changes aviation. The FAA issues new guidance on bird strikes. Airports increase wildlife management programs. Airlines improve engine restart training and ditching procedures. Volcanic ash and bird strike protocols are updated worldwide. But for the passengers, the story doesn't end with the rescue. Some struggle for years with post-traumatic stress. Others say the experience changed them, made them appreciate life, family, the small moments. A few stay in touch, form a survivors group, meet on anniversaries. They call themselves the Hudson River Survivors, and every January 15 they remember. There are moments in history when the math says people die, when the odds are impossible, when everything should go wrong. U.S. Airways Flight 1549 was one of those moments. A bird strike at the worst possible altitude, both engines gone. No time to reach an airport, a freezing river in the middle of the largest city in America. But the plane didn't hit a building. It didn't crash in Queens. It didn't flip and break apart on impact. And 155 people walked away. Not because of luck, because of training, because of skill. Because of one captain who had 40 years of experience and 208 seconds to use it. Because of a first officer who stayed calm when both engines quit. Because of flight attendants who kept passengers moving when the water was rising. Because of ferry captains who turned their boats toward danger instead of away. Captain Sullenberger later said he didn't think of himself as a hero. He said he was just doing his job. But his job that day was to keep 155 people alive when both engines failed over New York City. And he did. The NTSB called it the most successful ditching in aviation history. The media called it the miracle on the Hudson. The passengers just called it the day they should have died, and didn't. On January 15, 2009, a plane landed on the Hudson River, and everyone survived. That doesn't happen by accident.